Hello, welcome to video 2. I must admit I went for my first run of week 4 yesterday and oh my gosh, my face was so red. I was like top tomato in that after that. So how week 4 is panning out so far? You're doing 4 runs again, 2 are 3 minutes, 2 are 5 minutes. So what was really interesting yesterday was I was running alongside another woman. I couldn't tell that she was doing the couch to 5k, but she was a lot better at pacing than I was. And I feel like actually having her, I used her as my pacer. Yeah, this woman was a lot better at pacing than I was. But then I did find it a little bit annoying because you know, if you've gotten this far with the runs, and where I personally go running, it's a well-known spot. And I think that and you kind of just don't want to carry on like overtaking people because I do still have breaks in between. Yeah, so I would kind of like slow down when I was like behind her before I stopped. So I know that I could have potentially pushed myself more, but again, a little bit, I'm glad that she was there because I may have burnt myself out. So I guess that was a bit of sort of a learning experience for me that, well, and also like a positive thing as well, because I always feel like I'm going really slow, but then I could have easily overtaken this woman. But also, as I said, you know, like those 5-minute runs were hard, and yeah, I'm not looking forward to Thursday, which is when my next run is. Or is it Friday? No, Wednesday is my next run. What I found really interesting, I think I'm now going to have to like redo my route because I'm running longer distances, so I need a longer route. So I did actually cut short my cool down walk, because I had ran all the way home on the last run. So that I suppose is a good thing, seeing change, that I'm now going further than I was before. So we'll see what I end up doing tomorrow, which is Wednesday. But yeah, I did it, which is good. There was really some points yesterday where I thought I was going to stop, but I didn't. So go team. Hi guys, it's been a little while. So basically, as you may have noticed, I didn't upload a video the last week of April, which funny enough was supposed to be my first video of this, and I've actually just edited it. Basically, I had a massive uni deadline. Sorry, that's going in front. I had a massive uni deadline, and so I had to focus on that, which is, you know, I think fair enough. I don't think anybody would begrudge me that, but obviously one of the things that sort of fell to the wayside was also running. So I did the first 2 runs of week 4, and I can't remember when I did the last one, but it was only a week, if that, like 5 days, something like that. So I think I went for my last run maybe a Wednesday, and today's Tuesday, so maybe it was a week, and I didn't complete it, and I feel like shit. So basically, yeah, in the first 3-minute run, I already knew I'd fucked up because I went way too fast. My breathing was completely off, like my chest was like so tight, and I think just because I wanted to get it over and done with, because I was really apprehensive about getting back into it, I just wanted to get it over and done with, so I was running really quickly, which is stupid. And so with the 5-minute run, I only ran for 4 minutes, and then I did the second 3-minute run, but I only did 2.5 minutes of the last 5-minute run. So even on my defeated walk home, I made a plan, because as I said, sort of today it's Tuesday, so I'm going to redo that run. I'm going to redo run 3 of week 4 this week, and then next week start fresh with week 5. Just so I think when I do miss runs and stuff like that, I quite like the calendar week and the week in that to match up, because I know it just kind of gets a bit confusing, doesn't it? I'm frustrated because I've not just done it once, I've done it twice. I've been able to do it. Whereas today, like my chest was on fire. Like I haven't felt like that in a long time with these runs, and I knew it's completely and utterly to do with my pacing and to do with all that sort of stuff. Oh, you can still see how red I am. Like I tried. We'll see how it all goes. Yeah, I'm just feeling a bit particularly as I've literally just edited my first video of this and I'm just like, oh, like look how far you've come. But it's a little bump in the road, and I think what I'm really worried about is going forward, like I've got more deadlines upcoming this month with uni, so I know the last thing I'm going to want to do is sort of get out and do these runs, but also I think it is good to sort of step away from the computer and take some time for me and take my mind off of stuff. So hopefully running can be that for me, because I know for a lot of people sort of running sort of is a really sort of nice escape. And as I said, I think in previous clips, like when I've sort of just been daydreaming and sort of plodding along, like that's when it's sort of been easy for me, whereas I think I was just so worried about how this run was going to go with a week's break. And yeah, anyway, it's all a learning curve, it's all learning. You shall see me when I attempt this again. Hello guys. Oh, let's hold you straight, shall we? So I went for run 1 week 5 yesterday, and I completely forgot to record how I was feeling. And actually, I know I'm doing a naughty. I'm going for the second run of the week the day after, because there's no other time for me to fit it in. How did I feel yesterday? Surprisingly all right. Since I sort of had a bit of a wobbly at the end of last week and had to redo the run, I was a bit worried about starting this week. So from now on, the runs are different throughout the week. So I believe it sort of mirrors the same each week. So week 6 is something similar to week 5. So first run is 3 runs of 5 with breaks of 5 minutes in between. I believe today I'm doing 2 runs of 8 minutes and then a 20-minute run on Friday, which blows my fucking mind. We will cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, I was really worried about this run because I sort of felt like I had a bit of a wobbly, I guess. But actually it was all right. I was able to pace myself. I do think I prefer less amount of runs, because I think, I know I mentioned it in my previous video, I feel like when you've sort of got 8 of them to do, like that seems like a lot, although obviously at that time I could only really run for 60 seconds, whereas now I can run for 5. I found that run all right, to be honest. There was nothing really sticking out, although I have now included Pokemon Go into my running. I re-downloaded it, so I just have it in my armband running, so I don't I'm not catching Pokemon, but yeah, I think that also will help me sort of get out and about when I'm not running. So yeah, thought I'd mention that. As I said, I'm about to go for the second run, which is 2 runs of 8. So we'll see how I feel after that. I shall see you momentarily. Look, Ma, I made it! So I'm now back. As you can see, considerably more tomato. So I did the 2 8-minute runs, and I did them, which was great. It was really interesting. So I don't know if I literally just mentioned half an hour ago Pokemon Go. Basically, there's 2 reasons why I've downloaded Pokemon Go. I've got the Switch game, pointing at my Switch, which you can't see. And if you've played a Pokemon game before, you know they released 2 and you can't catch them all without trading. But with this game, Let's Go Pikachu, you can trade Pokemon from Pokemon Go onto it. So, wanted to catch them all. But also, because the breaks are getting longer in between, I find myself almost like psyching myself out of the next run, being like, oh my god, you've got to do that all over again. So I thought I would take my mind off of it by catching Pokemon. Because why not, right? And where I run, again, because it's like a grassy area, there's plenty. It's rife with Pokemon. This has taken a turn, hasn't it? Anyway, what's interesting is a Pokemon that I needed for my Switch game appeared just as my second 8-minute run was about to start. So I started running whilst I was trying to catch the pincer, and I ran the fastest in like that minute. I did not hurt in that minute. Like, I know that in the podcast they keep saying it's mind over matter, but literally it has just been made abundantly clear that it actually is mind over matter. I was so focused on catching that pincer. Now, I wouldn't recommend running along whilst trying to catch a Pokemon on Pokemon Go. It's a bit safety first, but I'm being honest, that's what I did. It literally, and most of the time I just sort of like daydream and what have you, but
when I literally was like, I was focused on something else. That was the fastest I was running. That was the most like confident I was running, because also I'm like, I'm trying to catch it. I'm like, ah! Like, and which meant I ran faster. So the whole thing was a bit bizarre, but for like 90 seconds, I caught a Pokemon. There we go. But also, yeah, it really became abundantly clear to me that it really is mind over matter. If you can distract yourself or what have you, I think you're on to a winner. The 8-minute runs were easier than I thought. I think, again, because it was then just 2 runs, I was like, I did the first one and I was going fairly slow, like it was like quite a slow jog because I did really want to pace myself. And then the second one, I knew like that was the last one. So for me, I found that works quite nicely. But, and not to poo-poo on my successes, but I am now worried for the 20-minute one, which is without the 5-minute break and obviously with 4 minutes extra, which is I'm going to be doing in a couple of days. I'm not doing one after the other like I did today and yesterday. Anyway, we shall see how I feel then. See you soon. So I went for my final run today of week 5 and I stopped halfway through. I am just not in the mood today for it. I think really, truly mind over matter, which is interesting because when I stopped running last time, or when I was like stopping and starting 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, I was like, my chest was on fire. Like I felt physically like I wasn't able to do it today. Like it wasn't even like I felt like I couldn't do it. Like I wasn't out of breath particularly. I wasn't like particularly sweaty. Like I wasn't like aching in my legs or anything like that. I was just like not in the headspace, which is weird because that's the first time that's happened. So my big plan is to go again on Sunday, which I know is not what I usually do. We'll see if it happens or not. I don't know, I was feeling really pessimistic and I don't think I gave myself enough time to sort of like psych myself up for it, which clearly seems like it was a mistake. I just kind of was like, right, I guess I go do this. And I've got a lot on at the moment and I know I've got a lot to do today. So I feel like having that sort of like lack of time, like I felt like I was almost wasting time, although I'm very certain if I had like accomplished it, I'd feel like a lot more accomplished now than I do. We'll see how I feel on Sunday. But I thought I'd be honest and say I gave it a go. I got to 10 minutes as well, like it wasn't even like, we'll just try again. We will just try again. Hi there. I haven't done this in a little while and I thought that I should talk about it really. So after I filmed my last video, about a week after that, I stopped doing the couch to 5k. I had a lot of uni deadlines and stuff like that, and I just found when I was going through week 5, I was just in a rotten mood, and the entire time I felt like guilty that I was doing it instead. I just was not in the right headspace. And I know I've spoken about it before, that really it is mind over matter in so many ways. Sometimes you can go out and you can really surprise yourself and feel really better for it, but there are other times when the devil is on your shoulder, and I was just not in the right headspace. So I decided to sort of put a pin in the couch 5k whilst I sorted my deadlines out. And I'm not mad at myself for doing that. It was one of those things that I didn't feel guilty, I don't feel bad, and I don't regret putting a pin in it for, you know, it was for a month, which I was sort of like, 4 weeks where I know I'm just going to feel like I don't have the time for it. And even if I quote unquote do have the time for it, in my head I feel like it would have been a waste of time, which isn't a way to look at exercising, but I know at that time where I was with it, that's how I was going to feel. But that was over a month ago. Like 2 months ago that was. So I handed in sort of near the beginning of June, and it's now the beginning of August. So and I'm not mad that I took that month off. I'm not mad that I took basically May off. I'm frustrated at myself for the following 2 months not picking it back up like I said I would. And I've been out running a couple of times, and I've just kind of like tried to like top up, if you know what I mean, kind of get back to where I was. And I've done mainly week 4 runs up until this point when I've sort of gotten back into it. Anyway, today's the day. I'm going back to week 5. I'm starting week 5 run 1, and I'm gonna give it a go. Also, I think one thing to point out, so I know I mentioned last time I had, you know, a little bit more of a little running support group, for want of a better word, and my 2 friends that were in it, they were both training for charity things, which they've now both done. So I think for them the momentum's gone because they've sort of, you know, they've done what they've set out to do, whereas I'm just doing it for me. I'm at the point where I'm like, do you know what, enough's enough. I can sit here and berate myself and tell myself that I've done a bad job or what have you, but that's not gonna get me out. And I want to be kinder to myself in many ways. I feel like a lot of people should be more kind to themselves, and one way that I can do that is, you know, making myself feel bad and do something about it. I do actually also want to say at this point there's 2 women that have commented on some of my videos about if I'm still doing it, you know, where's my second video, and I really want to say thank you to you 2 because, you know, if you're watching this, because I feel like for me that's part of the reason why I'm going out today and filming this and continuing to do this, because it's obviously made a difference, and that's really nice. And I don't really know where I'm going with this, but anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for commenting. I appreciate it, and thank you, and I'm dedicating this run to you ladies. But yeah, so I will talk to you when I'm back. Wow. I am coming at you with all the hot looks today. I've just finished my run. Particularly this one, I wanted to just talk as soon as I finished. So I did run 1 week 5, and it's funny, so if you redo runs, it tells you when you first did the run, and I first did that on the 6th of May, I think, and today is the 5th of August. Wow. Yeah, so when I sort of stopped doing it, I attempted run 3 of week 5, which is a 20-minute straight run, and I got to about 12 minutes with that, and then I just walked home and stopped running for 2.5 months. Yeah, and in between then, I've gone for about 3 weeks ago, I did a week 4 run, and I didn't record anything about me talking about it. I just kind of wanted to get back into the swing of it, pick things up. Anyway, today I did run 1 of week 5, which is 3 5-minute runs with 2 3-minute breaks in between. And the first 2 runs I did alright. I felt okay with them. I mean, it was hard work towards the end of both of them, but I completed them, whereas the third one, like, I was so done. So I had an extra minute's walk in between. I got to about 3 minutes, had a little minute extra walk, and then so I ran for 14 minutes rather than 15 minutes. But you know what? I'm not going to beat myself up about it, because it's better than not going out at all. And I haven't done it for a long time. Yeah, I was going to go for a run about 7 o'clock, and then the heavens opened at 7 o'clock. So I went at 8 instead. And I could have just not gone and been like, oh, do you know, guys, well, it was torrential rain, which it was. Like, that wasn't a lie. But when it stopped and I was able to go and it's still light out, and I was like, no, I'm going to go do it. So I'm taking this one as a victory, even though I did about 95%. I wasn't working at 100%, but it's something. And as I said, I'm proud of myself for going and giving it a go and redoing this run. I believe next run is 2 8-minute runs with like 5 minutes in between. I could be wrong. And then it's a 20-minute run, which I cannot tell you how much I'm cacking myself about. I will cross that bridge when I come to it. I need to get in the shower. Anyway, see you soon. Hello. Hi. So I just thought I would drop in and do a little update. So currently where I'm at is I'm building back my confidence to get back on track to where I am. And this is about the 3rd time that I've tried it. So I'm on week 5, and today I did run 2 of week 5, which is 2 8-minute runs. I've had a bit of an epiphany. I wasn't gonna film anything until I tried the 20-minute run, but I actually, yeah, I had an epiphany, so I thought I would share it, you know. So the thing is back a couple of months when I first initially started doing it, was really into it. Although things were hard and although there were ups and downs, I feel like it's next level for, you know, to go from 2 8-minute runs to a full 20-minute run. And I think I attempted that, well, I know I attempted that 20-minute run, and I was not in the right headspace, and, you know, I've already covered all this. And I think just due to where I was in the academic year, it just wasn't a good time for me to take on that load. However, I feel like because and listen, this is, you know, I'm a work in progress, and one thing that is an issue for me is I am my worst critic. I can be so critical of myself, and a few things have happened, and I'm really trying to change my mindset of that, specifically when it comes to exercise and running and the Couch to 5K program. So I tried that 20-minute run and I failed, and that's how I viewed it, as a failure because I didn't complete it. And then I think 2 or 3 times I've tried again by starting week 5 again, doing those 5-minute runs, doing those 8-minute runs, and then chickening out at trying again to do that 20-minute run. However, today I was again doing the same thing, going for the run 2, 8-minute runs, what have you. So one thing that my housemate said to me, so my housemate, he's a very active guy, he plays for a football team and he plays for a cricket team and he goes for runs and stuff, and he enjoys it, like that is, you know, a hobby for him. He like enjoys sports and sort of keeping fit. But one thing he said to me when I was sort of like thinking about going for a run, and me sort of saying like, oh, I'm gonna do run 2 again, and he was just like, well, you don't have to necessarily do a run just to tick a box, like you can just go for a run to go for a run. Which is true, because I'm a bit like, oh, if I go for this run, when am I gonna go for my next run, blah 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 blah, like putting it in the diary, which I understand can help make it a habit. But just him sort of being like, well, you could just go for a run for yourself. Like, why don't you just do that instead? Which, that sort of no pressure attitude, I think is kind of what I needed. Anyway, so I went for this run today, and like in one of the 8-minute runs, I slowed down for a little bit. I would say for about a minute, I slowed down, and usually I'd be really like beating myself up and sort of saying like, oh, like you can't do this, like you can't complete this, like you might as well stop, you might, like, you know, the devil on my shoulder really sort of saying to me like, well, if you're not going to do it properly, then why do it? And the thing is the thing that sort of like clicked in my mind today is like, I am on week 5 of week 12, and the 20-minute runs is 2/3 of the way there, and I'm not a 2/3 of the way through the program. So I haven't even, you know, it's been months since I listened to that 20-minute run, but Joe Wiley's not the boss of me. And always when you listen to it, they're sort of saying like, it's just a light jog. Like I'm finding myself not listening, which is my own fault, you know, sort of saying just a light jog, like if you're struggling, like just keep moving. So even if I end up walking part of it, which isn't quote unquote like planned, it's not like a planned break, I think I need to listen to my body and know in myself when, okay, yeah, I'm gonna slow down now for a minute, but then I'm gonna pick it back up again. It's that I need to realize that sometimes it's okay to drop the ball, but it's just when you need to pick it back up again. That's the thing that I think I struggle with. You know, if I don't do it flawlessly the first time around, then I'm awful. Like, why am I on this planet if I'm not doing it? But, you know, being terrible at something is the first step of being okay at something. So I'm looking glass half full, I think, for the first time at this 20-minute run, which I'm going to be doing in a couple of days' time. The world will not end if I end up taking things a little bit slower at some points of it. Because the world didn't end today when I slowed down once or twice. So what? So what? At least I'm out there. And I think that's the thing, like I need to sort of say to myself, like at least I'm doing it. Because if I'm sort of taking my old mindset as sort of gospel, then I'm not gonna finish it. I'm never gonna finish it because I'm like, oh, you're not doing it perfectly. But the Couch to 5K is, you don't start running 5K, do you? And just because there's less planned breaks throughout it, I've still got 7 weeks to be able to sort that out. You know, I've still got, 21 like guided runs to get that right. That's a lot, you know? So just because I'm still working on it doesn't mean it shouldn't be perfect at this point. I shouldn't be perfect at this point. The moral of the story is be kinder to yourself, because you know, that's something that I personally struggle with anyway, and I just think being kinder to myself will help me see this through. Because I imagine, you know, like I hope, say at week 10, then maybe I'll be running with like no little breaks, and just because they're not planned in doesn't mean, yeah, I just need to start looking at this in a different way, and today something clicked. Oh my god, I've been chatting for 7 minutes. Anyway, I just thought I would share. and I shall see you in a couple of days when I tackle that 20-minute run. Hello. So I've just done week 5, run 3. Let's look at how red I am. Tommy Tomato is back in business. Anyway, so I thought I would update you on how my run went. So it's been about a week since I last filmed my previous clip, because every opportunity I had to squeeze in a run, like, it was a torrential downpour. So I didn't think that was very motivating. So I put it off, but you know, again, is that just, actually, I'm gonna allow myself that. Like, it was, I mean, honestly, really bad weather. So I went Saturday morning, and I guess kind of off the back of what I said last time, I've found, so I did end up stopping. I stopped twice for about 1.5 minutes each time. The thing is, I think previously, with my previous mindset, like, if I'd stopped at all in that run for, you know, longer than to like cross the road or whatever, I would have really sort of got in my head and been like, oh, like, you fucked it, you got to start again, like, blah, 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 blah. Whereas this time I was like, okay, like, I allowed myself to really assess the situation. I was like, am I just being, not weak, but am I just being, is it just the devil on my shoulder, or do I really need a break? And both times I was like, well, the first time I was very much like, you know what, I gave myself an extra minute and I was like, actually, yes, no, I do need this break. I do want this break. So I slowed down for about 1.5 minutes. And what I did is I basically just sort of like looked up the road and like picked out a tree. And I was like, I'm going to walk to that tree and then I'm going to keep going. I think sort of giving myself, you know, boundaries in which I'm breaking the rules, which sounds strange, but it's true. Giving myself sort of like that, like, okay, like, you've decided to do this, that's fine, that you've assessed the situation, I'll allow it. I really hope you just heard my housemate burping there. But, you know, it's not, you are going to have to pick up again. Like, you're going to have to pick up your pace again. And then the second time, I have to admit, it was a prime Pokemon picking situation. And I said to myself, like, if I go on this run today, I'm going to get some Pokemons, which maybe seems counterproductive, but also it was a reason for me to get up and go. And I sort of said to myself, you know what, I will allow you to, there's like a stretch which is like a minute and a half's walk where there's just a lot of Pokemon, which I understand is very niche, but I said to myself, like, I will allow myself to slow down for that moment and pick the Pokemon that I want and then keep on going. And then actually that's quite close to where I stopped running, like right before the final like frontier. So I quite like that. I had like that sort of to look forward to. And again, I'm not mad at that because, yeah, as I said, I think previously I would have just been like, you sucked it, and then stop, and then find ages to build up the courage to do it again. Whereas this time I'm like, you know what, no, I did go out there. Did I do the full 20 minutes? No. And actually at the end of the podcast they sort of talk about like if you really struggle with it, like it's a big jump, etc. And actually I didn't plan on leaving this vlog here, but I feel like I want to for 2 reasons. Number 1, I kind of want to round out my trials and tribulations and move forward and sort of, yeah, round this chapter off. But also at the end of the podcast they mentioned how it's going to be a lot more longer runs, so I guess it just makes more sense to have them together. So it's been a wild ride so far, but Joe Wiley told me, who is not the boss of me. I think that's the best way to look at it. Like, it's a guided run. Like, she's not my personal trainer. She's not here yelling at me. And I think doing 90% of it is better than doing 30% of it and then stopping. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm looking forward to the longer runs. Because also I think, like, when I stop or when I complete, because I will, and so will you, I will complete the Couch 5k. You know, I obviously want to continue to make it a habit. There'll be times where I slow down. There'll be days I have bad days, and yeah, as I said last time, I just find that I'm not even halfway through the programme and I'm doing 2/3 of the speed. So I reckon the next 7 weeks, 6 weeks, they are to build on that strength and to make sure that you can do it and do it comfortably and sort of build up your stamina. So if I'm a couple minutes behind now, I have the opportunity to make that up by the end of the programme. So that's where I'm at. This is, it's really sunny. I'm gonna go have a shower. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you soon. Bye!